Hello, my name is Kimberly, and this is my channel, The Amazing Kimmeth. Today we are going over the Warhammer 40k novel Dead Men Walking by Steve Lyons. So grab yourself a cup of recap or Amersec, and let's get into this. We start off with Gunthar, who wants to propose to Erix, who is the governor's niece, and his name is Heinrich. Gunthar works in the mines. The name of this planet is Hieronymus Theta. It is a skyscraper world, and everyone accesses everything by skyways. The lower you are on these skyscrapers, the lower class you are as well. And after the botched proposal, Gunthar and Erix leave, and they end up going to some of the lower levels, and mutants are coming up from the lower levels. They're coming up and up, but something is forcing them up, and that is what is most disturbing. We are then introduced to Commissar Castellan. He is assigned to the Death Corps guys of Krieg, and this is where the book kind of goes into a quick background on Krieg and how those folks come about. I'm not going to go into the whole story of Krieg, but just know that the little bit of the background is that there was a civil war and the world was destroyed, and the Krieg soldiers are able to live on this destroyed world, and they're constantly training, and they constantly have this mindset of just train for the Emperor. Everything that we do is for the Emperor. They are almost robotic, even though they are humans. There is another book just on the Krieg story. Do check that out. Link is in the description. But anyway, Commissar Castellan, he is assigned to the Death Corps, and he's getting ready to go on leave. He's got 6 days of leave, and he's so excited. The Krieg guys are going to keep on training because that's just what they do. But Castellan, he's ready to get out. He's ready to drink. He's ready to play cards. He's ready to go and just do anything but train. So we're then cut to the mines. In the mines, they are unearthing these strange artifacts. There is strange humming that keeps coming about, and there's things that people are just being really unnerved about in the mines, and there's things in these mines that just don't feel right. They notice that the servitors are falling down and worshiping these artifacts, and they're going towards this humming, and of course it's disturbing. The servitors shouldn't be doing that. They should be doing only what they're programmed to do. What is going on in these mines? So then the story cuts to the governor Heinrich. He tries to get Erix, his niece, out of the city. He's trying to evacuate the mines, but Erix doesn't listen. She does the whole, like, you're not my dad. And she goes to find Gunthar and goes to his home. But that's when the power goes out. There's this weird swarm of insects that attack Erix, and they're like a strange mechanical insect, which doesn't make any sense. Commissar Castellan meets Commissar Mannheim, and these two are able to connect the dots between the humming in the mines, the strange artifacts, this pyramid that was found that's glowing, these weird little bug creatures that are swarming and attacking folks. The commissars figure out what's going on, and they are not happy. These mutants that were in the beginning of the book, they are now tearing off the skins of humans and starting to wear them. And it's really disgusting, really disturbing, but the details are really great. Governor Heinrich is really upset because the Krieg decide that they are going to take over the planet and they are going to control and govern the planet. And Heinrich is a little upset because he's the governor, but he remembers the good old days when he was a soldier, so he straps up and tells the Krieg guys and the commissars that he's gonna take control and still run the planet alongside them. And he kind of gets a side eye, but he at least steps up instead of being a coward and leaving the planet as soon as possible. But the city is cut off, it is barricaded, and the Krieg guys, they decide that they will try to get as many people out of the town, out of the city, off of the planet as soon as possible. But things are going to take time trying to get the signal out, getting help, having ships come, and then escorting people out. There's a lot of action, a lot of earthquakes. There's a lot of destruction in the city at this point, and it's really cool. That's when it kind of all erupts and everything, all of the chaos and the mutants and just all these different things coming together. And it's just very destructive, and it's just a fun read at this point. The Krieg colonel confronts Heinrich and calls Heinrich a coward or points out some things that Heinrich is doing that is cowardly. Heinrich tries to make up for it. But this is where a lot of the fighting starts to ramp up. Now, from here on out, it's about 2 months of the timeline. So there's a ton that is occurring, but it's only within 2 months. Eryx, she ends up getting enslaved by a bunch of heretics. And Eryx meets up with a former suitor that she had denied. His name's Tyler, but they hit it off and they kind of lean on each other. Eryx and Taylor find a way out of the confines of their captors and dealing with all of the heretics and just the insane abomination that these heretics create. And at this point, Gunther, he enlists as an Imperial Guard, and it goes into the training of what these guards have to deal with under the Krieg soldiers. The Krieg soldiers are just absolute monsters, and they're great, but they're just machines. And so you have these new kids that are enlisting in the Imperial Guard, and they're totally wet behind the ears. And you see Gunther, and you see Gunther's character development at this point, and it is absolutely beautiful because Gunther's character beforehand was just kind of lackluster. He was a bit selfish, and it just shows where he is completely broken and then he's rebuilt into something magnificent. He is just there to serve his people and serve the emperor. And then we catch back up with Commissar Castellan, and he and the Krieg guys, they decide they are going to go on a mission into the mines, and it goes horribly wrong. The Krieg want the new conscripts to go to the front and be on the front lines so that they are cannon fodder first, and then the more experienced Krieg soldiers can fight and do more of the heavy lifting. Heinrich does not like this. He doesn't approve of it. He pushes back against the Krieg and gives his argument that it's his men, they're his people. He doesn't approve of it. And then the Krieg are like, hey, what you're saying is heresy. At this part of the book, we are shown just how the city falls into ruin and just how people treat each other, how they treat one another. Just all humanity kind of sucked out of the people, and it's really terrible to read, but it does kind of help lay the groundwork of just what these people have been up against and what they have become. Gunther is approached by the Krieg. They know that he had worked in the mines, and because of that, they ask if he would help with a mission going into the mines and to blow it up. And without hesitation, he agrees to it. Spoiler, he survives it because it is botched, but he does survive, he does get out. And this just shows and it solidifies that Gunther is 100% an Imperial Guard. He is a soldier, he is nothing else. Like I had said, Eryx and Taylor, they're able to get out from their captors, and it does show a nice little side adventure of them trying to seek for safety and try to just get out of the city, try to see what they can do, and just remaining safe and just surviving. Castellan gets word that he is to be reassigned somewhere else, and he's no longer going to be attached to the Krieg. And of course, there's more fighting and more action that occurs. And then at this point, with all this fighting and the Krieg seeing the losses that they've had with all these battles, the planet is given the order of exterminatus. And that's where I'm going to leave this story because any more would be a spoiler. I've listened to it twice on audiobook and I've read the physical copy once. I really enjoyed it. I just liked seeing the character arc of a lot of these different people and just where they go from being really crummy to absolutely amazing, or they just delve deeper into heresy. I do recommend, if you have the chance, to read Dead Men Walking by Steve Lyons. And of course, I have links to the book and the audiobook down in the description below, as well as the Krieg book that I had mentioned earlier in this video. Have you read this book? What did you think about it? And as always, what should I read next?